Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is the ConceptD laptop. We have a laptop and a motherboard, right? Kind of weird. Let's pull up the ticket and let's quickly summarize what happened here. Okay, the laptop stopped working while on battery, used just for web browsing, so not a gaming machine. It just shut off completely with absolutely no signs of life, no LED, no fans, nothing. Investigating the motherboard showed a short that I was able to trace to the CPU VRMs by thermal imaging and confirming by lifting the OR bridge. Well, if you have thermal imager, you don't need to lift anything. I would say it's just unnecessary hassle. I purchased a motherboard from something, which is the exact same motherboard, but for Acer Predator 516-51S. And it has a different BOM and BIOS, different keyboard controller, different ZIF connector. After struggling to desolder the ZIF connector, initially using IR 6500, I finally managed by Captain taping the ZIF connector to protect the black plastic so it wouldn't overheat and warp. I then soldered the ZIF connectors on the Predator motherboard using the soldering iron and flux, preheating to 100 degrees Celsius for easier soldering. Very good. Unfortunately, the Predator motherboard has some problems of its own. The GPU does not show up in BIOS and in Windows, and it also does not charge the battery. And I purchased a new original Acer battery. I think the best strategy would be to fix the original ConceptD motherboard by using the other motherboard as parts as a donor. If you can get the CPU VRM fixed and confirm all the functions, including GPU and charging, I can optionally do the ZIF transfer myself if you can fix the main things. Windows works fine with external keyboard and mouse if the ZIF are missing. I have a schematic and board view, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, someone's revving the engine outside. Well, what are you gonna do? So let's take a look at the original board and see if we can indeed fix this one. So we have a shorted VRM on the CPU, right? Was it on the CPU or on GPU? On the CPU. Let's remove this completely. There you go. And that also reveals the motherboard. This is L2011P. Those boards are like $200 on AliExpress. This is Intel CPU. Now obviously we know it's Intel because we see the number over there. This is i7 or i9, but also we see a PCH, so that's definitely Intel. Here are our VRMs. So let's take let's do the regular meter first. Resistance, and let's confirm. This is the ground. This is our VCC for VRMs, and if we touch the coil, we have 0, 0. So VRM, one of these is shorted, but let's not jump to conclusions yet, because the customer confirmed with thermal camera. I don't think we have any reason not to trust the measurement, but just in case, so 4 and okay. Well, it was confirmed. So you see my problem over here. It looks like on GPU I'm reading the same thing. So that is an issue. The customer also lifted the coil, right? So I think he thoroughly debugged it or confirmed that it's definitely VRM on the CPU. Now the question is, have you injected voltage and how much and how? So if you inject it between this point and this point, it should be fine as long as the short is here. That'll be perfectly fine. But what if the short is not here and your current will flow through the CPU, through the ground, and through the short on the GPU VRM, then through GPU and back to this point, right? So yeah, by lifting, yeah, I don't have a board view at the moment. I know we can get it from the customer, but I don't have it at the moment. But I would expect that there is no. It comes directly from the main power rail, right? This is directly main power rail, so we get like 18, 19 volts depending on what the voltage of the charger is, and that goes directly to the VRMs, and they produce a V-core. So let's do a few measurements. So first, let's see the resistance of the CPU core, if it's going to be possible even at this point. The resistance of the core should be roughly 30 ohms, 20, 30 ohms. We're getting 0.2 on the Fluke. So let's measure with the micro ohm meter and see what it's gonna say. 130 milliohms. That is low. That is very, very low. But let's see the V-core of the GPU, and we have 100 on GPU. So this doesn't match. Yeah, this doesn't match. I thought the CPU would be fried because I did the initial measurements before, and I even confirmed with the guys on Discord whether it would be normal 130 milliohms on the CPU, but definitely not, and definitely CPU cannot have lower resistance than the GPU. But GPU, this one, it's not super high end, but we have 2, 4, 6 memory chips. So I can believe that this is like 500, 600 milliohm core. 100 milliohms is too low. But this doesn't really make sense. Okay, the most likely CPU is indeed fried, but I have to make sure, because if the CPU is fried, then I would advise, yeah. So we'll take a look at the laptop, because I have a hunch that the GPU not being detected and charging issues are a result of the BIOS. There might be something wrong with the BIOS. We'll confirm that later. So first, let's inject. So we're assuming that one of these are shorted, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're gonna inject very little voltage and minimum current. If indeed one of these is shorted, it's going to be even hard to see, but with macro lens we should be able to see tiny little blip. Now, how was the voltage injected before by the customer? I don't see signs of soldering on the coils. The cap, hard to say. So there's some flux left over here. My concern is that if the voltage was injected here in reference to ground, and you injected too much and for too long, then that's what killed the CPU. But shorted VRM can absolutely destroy the CPU. I've seen that in cases where there was no voltage injection, right? New board, or board that hasn't been worked on before, and the VRM shorted and the CPU is a piece of wire. So that doesn't have to mean that the voltage injection was a failure. But I'm still not convinced, because I'm seeing weird things over here. What is, if I check the resistance of between the input and the coil, right? Is it going to be the same as the CPU right now? So around 130 ohms, right? If it's going to be the same, then that would make sense. But if it's going to be different, 312 on these. So, well, definitely that should confirm that none of these VRMs are shorted. Okay, but it's not for sure yet. So let's solder on the wires and let's inject. Yeah, let's inject in reference to ground. We're gonna drop the voltage to 0.7. Right, it's gonna drop a lot lower, and let's see, yeah, it drops to 44 millivolts, and we're injecting half a watt. And now let's see if the CPU or GPU getting warm, or both. Okay, the CPU is getting warm. Interesting. I mean, that's what you would expect when the VRM is shorted indeed. But why can I not see a shorted VRM? There. Okay, it's the first one or the second one? Yeah, it's definitely top transistor, for sure. This one. Okay. So let's remove it from the circuit and see what's gonna happen. Alrighty, now let's check the resistance here now. Or first let's confirm that we don't have a shorted VRM line anymore by doing this and this. And we have 1, 2, 3, 24K and so on growing, right? So it's good now. Then let's confirm again on the GPU, and the same thing, we have like 10 megs. So this was definitely our problem, but the CPU resistance, and I don't even need to check that because, yeah, 141, way too low. But why do I not even need to check that? When I was injecting, I clearly saw on the CPU a little point over here, a little dot that was glowing bright red. CPUs that work don't do that. They just gradually, slowly heat up, right? They gradually light up under the camera and dim. And in this case, I saw one particular spot somewhere here, if I remember correctly, that was glowing very bright. So yeah, that's typically shorted CPU. Okay, so the CPU is fried on this one. Now, can we transplant a CPU from the other board to this board? I don't have a stencil, so there. That is the main issue here. No stencil. But we'll see. We're going to talk to the customer. Right now we're just diagnosing. So the board is deemed CPU replacement required. And before we go down that route, let's take a look at our actual computer. So the charging LED is lighting up. The computer's been charging for a while now, like at least 24 hours. So let's see what we can see. i7 and RTX, very nice combination. It's weird, why would you have a gaming laptop and use it for web? Yes, so the battery is definitely showing pretty much zero, well, 1%. And it discharges from the battery. So when I remove the plug, it discharges, it keeps the computer running, but it doesn't charge. External monitor doesn't seem to work. Okay, so that kind of sucks, because I won't be able to easily show you what's going on here. But it also tells us something. So our device manager. I'm trying to get like some decent angle on this, but it's kind of hard because the window is and the lights are reflecting too much. But maybe this will do. We have the battery is detected, right? It's not charging. We have only the Intel UHD graphics. So yeah, GPU, the RTX GPU is not detected. The firmware, why do I not see the version here? We have two unknown devices, so one of them I expect is a GPU, but what is the other one? Would the GPU show as two devices? Probably not, right? I don't know. It's probably related, the problem of not displaying on the external screen is likely related to this problem, and that's pretty much it. Now the battery, if we run the report now, there, the file saved. Let's see the file. What's it called? Battery report. Battery report and the history. Yeah, but it went up to 5%. Right. So this was when? The 18th. Oh no, because it's the other. Oh, okay. Never mind. I read it the wrong way. I thought this was the recent, and this is the most recent actually. We were on AC for a long time, and the battery just keeps dropping. So it's definitely not pushing any charge to the battery. The cycle count is 18, so it's pretty much a new battery. And yeah, on all that. So could it be a BIOS issue, BIOS related? That is my question, and we're gonna have to answer it. But first, we need to do two things. So first, I'm gonna rendezvous with the customer, and we're gonna figure out which route to take, whether to fix the other board. I'll also look for the replacement boards. We'll see, because I've seen it for a little over $200 on AliExpress. That's, that is a guarantee, and maybe slightly more expensive than my services. But it all depends. If we have to find a CPU, well, we can take the CPU from the other board. But is the other board the same architecture? Is it, this board? What is the CPU here? 11th Gen i7. So the CPU is the same, and that is the 11th Gen i7 on the other board as well. So we could transplant this CPU from here to there. But I still don't know if the customer did the clean reset of the system, or just swapped the board and started the old system, because this could be the problem. So we could start there by just resetting Windows, basically reinstalling Windows, cleaning the computer from all the other stuff that was there. We had this problem on one machine that wouldn't, for some reason, we couldn't downgrade the BIOS, right? It would insist on installing newer version, so it wouldn't work. So this could be similar problem here. So we're gonna definitely update the BIOS to the latest version, and yeah, and we'll see what's gonna happen. Alrighty, we're gonna stop here. Actually, before we do stop, let's check if the external monitor is still not working, but yeah, okay, just as well. Alright, so the BIOS is updated. And we got what? Security, the mother. Check for updates again. Let's see the optional updates. But there's two cables hanging out of here because the battery is still not charging, but there was a firmware update because we installed new BIOS. And to install updates, the battery needs to be charged to at least 30%. That's how Windows works, unfortunately. So for that reason, I had to recharge it manually. So we know the battery is fine, but the customer replaced the battery. We knew from the beginning that that was the case. We have .NET Framework cumulative update, so we don't care about that. And we just checked, and there's nothing. And we still have two unknown devices. The GPU is still not seen. We do have Acer System 107 firmware now. So before I didn't know the version because it was like some kind of generic. Now it actually says 107. That is the latest BIOS for this board. I'm not sure what to do with this. We have a broken board that has fried CPU, and the resistance on the GPU is also very low, so I'm pretty sure there's also something wrong with that. But I might look into that because this is like, I don't remember, it's 3060 or something like that. So a very decent GPU, but I would expect it to be, 4070 or 4070 has over 500 milliamps on the core, and this one has I don't know, like 120 or something like that. So I don't think this is good. So potentially we have two chips to replace to that board, right? CPU and GPU. On this one, the GPU is not detected by the system. Could it be that it just doesn't work? But I've never seen the non-working GPU to actually, to boot on the laptop and just use the Intel CPU or Intel GPU. It's kind of weird. But this is kind of where we stand. I'm not sure what to do with that. I mean, I could start now poking around the GPU to see if the voltages are okay. Maybe check the thermal image, maybe that way. But the unfortunate in this case is that the customer got the replacement board, right? So yeah, this one That would be the easy option. And actually, I was wrong about that. $200 for the board is closer to 500 because of the GPU. It's 30 series GPU on these. So he did replace the entire motherboard, and the computer, as you can see, computer works, but without working battery, even with if the GPU was the only problem here, maybe he could live with that. I don't think so, but maybe. Since the ticket said that it was mainly used for like web browsing and stuff. So maybe the GPU is not that important on it, but the battery probably is. So I'm not sure. And if I had a stencil for the CPU, then yeah, I would do it. But now I would have to locate the stencil. I don't know if I can locate it. And swap the CPUs. Plus, I would have to charge for it. I know I swapped the CPUs on in the other case a few times even, but that was my first time. So I did it for $50. In this case, since I already know how to do it, right, and I had some success before, naturally I have to charge a little more because now it's an actual service, right? I don't mean a lot, but a little more than $50. But that doesn't guarantee success either. So I don't know. Let's sit on this case for a little while. I'm gonna wait for you guys to give me maybe some feedback, maybe some ideas what to do with this. For some reason, no one wants to send me a laptop with a simple shorted transistor or something. It's always a crazy, weird case, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love crazy cases like this, but I would like to make some money from time to time. You know what I mean? Life is expensive. Well, anyways, if you guys have any ideas what this could be and what I could try next, just to at least maybe isolate the problem, I guess we could just put some other, I don't know, reset Windows completely, right? Wipe it and install a new one. But my problem with that is that even if this wasn't Windows issue or driver issue or something like that, when you connect the charger and the battery is present, the computer is in S5 state, it will charge the battery. We don't need system, we don't need CPU, we don't need GPU, none of that. All of that could be removed from the computer, and as long as the power management chip, this is probably ISL, definitely, most likely it's not BQ chip, but whatever it is, it will take the power and push it into the battery. It might prevent the computer from turning on altogether, but once it is turned on, it doesn't need the rest of the computer, right? That's why I'm not even going down that route that it's a system issue. This could be a BIOS issue, but we eliminated that at this point. EC was updated. There is one possibility that I am considering, but I'm not quite sure yet, but let me just throw it in there. When I replaced everything, the computer wouldn't boot. It wouldn't post. It would boot, and it starts, then it shuts down after like 2-3 seconds, and then boots again, which is normal when you reset the BIOS, right? But then it would just sit on the black screen. Nothing's happening. Then I removed the back cover. I just removed the back cover because I figured, okay, let's turn it on and let me measure some voltages or something. I press the power button and the computer starts. There's a chime and the system starts loading. So Lead Farmer suggested that cracked solder, poor connection somewhere, cracked board perhaps also could be. This board has been shipped outside the laptop, right, because it's a replacement board. It's very possible that someone sat on it or dropped it from a few floors and the board cracked a little bit, somewhere, and that is the issue of charging, and also the issue with GPU. It could be. Maybe we can just reflow GPU and or reball GPU, but still I don't have a stencil, but they're actually easier to get for GPUs rather than CPUs. So maybe that is the issue with this board. So then, is it worth replacing or swapping the CPU from this one to that one and just hoping it'll work? Since this one works, maybe I could compare the measurements to confirm that the GPU indeed has really low series resistance, but I really doubt that. I think that GPU is also fried, despite there's no shorts on the VRMs, on the GPU at least. It was only on CPU. But that's where we are. If you guys have any ideas, I really appreciate it. Even any far-fetched suggestions, I'll take it all. Okay. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.